that Daredevil Born Again Season 2 finale was just wild. Now, this is going to be my spoiler talk. I'm definitely not going to run through everything that happened. I'm going to run through the major things that happened and or the things that kind of just stood out to me. Now, we start off with some courtroom drama, picking up right where we left off in the last episode. And at first, Matt's not there. Curious why? Because Jessica's trying to remove the bullet from his leg where he got shot at the last episode and the end of it. So we start off with Kirsten and Matt asking Heather some really great questions and proving what Matt has said before of,
I'm a really good lawyer.
with Heather on the stand. And let me sidetrack for 1 second with this whole Heather character arc thing throughout this whole season. Going from season 1 to season 2. Okay, let's put a scenario in your head real quick. Say you're almost killed by someone. You would have PTSD from that, or something similar to it. In this case, Heather did have that in Daredevil Born Again season 1, leading into season 2. And they were alluding to this throughout the season, which I was thinking they were going to get to it, and they did get to it, and I still don't think it makes sense. Apparently, she is going to be the next Muse. That just doesn't make sense to me. Okay, someone tried to kill you, you're traumatized from it, you know what? I'm going to become them. What? That just doesn't make sense to me. God, the action in this series, let alone this episode, with Bullseye taking out some of the AVTF, and later on in the episode, the actual courthouse fighting in the hallways and the main lobby area, everything that goes on later on. Just some of the best work that the MCU has ever done. Truly is. And Matt calling down Mayor Fisk onto the stand to try to get him to expose himself. These two don't need to fight physically. It's lovely when they do. It's an action-packed, jam-packed ride when they do. But just talking, just these two just talking to each other, let alone be in public or a courtroom or just in private, it's just absolute aura. You can just tell these two absolutely hate each other for their own diabolical reasons on both ends. But these two in this courtroom, just absolute chemistry with each other. The tension in that scene is unreal. And Matt and Kirsten throw in a big old plot twist into this whole trial. And that is the videos that they did previously in the season of people exposing Fisk for his crimes, and especially one of them being Christophe Sava, who was on that ship and Daredevil saved him in the ship that Fisk sank. Fisk is not going to be honest at all about any of the dealings, about any of the business that he does, and he just wants to make everything very vague. And they're calling him out for it right now. This is one of the greatest pieces of evidence that you can provide against someone in court like that. And Matt interrogates Fisk some more, builds some more tension, and does something that I had maybe a small bit of an idea that was going to happen in this season due to Mike Coulter. Thanks, Mike. Matt Murdock reveals to the courtroom and to everyone in New York that he is Daredevil. Wow. Okay, that reveal had my jaw on the floor. And people not believing him at first, and rightfully so. He pulls off some quarterback shit where he just, one of his sticks, just pulls some ricocheting quarterback type shit, and people believe it then, that's for sure. And with all the evidence stacked against him, and Matt's reveal that he is the vigilante of Daredevil, the judges have no other choice but to decide that Karen Page, who was unrightfully accused of crimes, is set free of her charges. Rightfully so. Finally, the justice system does something right. Until later on. And with all this drama being unraveled, tensions high, people splitting sides of Kingpin's right, Daredevil's right, a BB report drops. She exposes herself, showing that she's the one that's been dropping these reports for the past season. And stakes are raised, people choose sides, chaos erupts, riots break out. So much is going on, and this giant on and off 20-minute fight scene finally breaks out, where everything just comes to a close, where Buck gets shot, Kingpin is rightfully gonna lose his position as mayor, AVTF is trying to hold back riots outside of the courthouse, the rioters and the people who side with Daredevil and all the vigilantes have finally broken in and are trying to do their best to help out where they can to help Daredevil fight off Kingpin and this ridiculous AVTF. Kingpin smacking people left and right, breaking through. White Tiger makes her debut. Jessica Jones comes back to help out as much as possible. Karen Page is coming in there trying to do what she can. And Daredevil's trying to control all of this. And you just can't control a giant riot of people. People can just get out of control, and that is what happened here. And people just start dogpiling and just ambushing Kingpin. Matt breaks through and just finally says to him, looks him in the face, or at least as much as he can look him in the face. And Matt and Fisk just finally come to an understanding of Daredevil has committed crimes, Kingpin has committed crimes. Wilson finally loses his position as mayor, and Matt gets arrested for the crimes of Daredevil. Unjustly unfair. And Kingpin gets to just go off on a beach somewhere? That's not cool. That's another case of our justice system being very flawed. And after that, we see Matt and Karen in one of their favorite restaurants on one final date, which we actually saw in the beginning of the episode, which I thought at first that was a flashback, but apparently it was a flash forward, I guess you could say. We see Jessica Jones with her daughter back in her office. Who comes walking in but Luke Cage, the father of the daughter. And it really looks like in season 3, which is currently being filmed or has finished filming, one of the two, because we have seen set pictures come out for it. Looks like we're going to see a Defenders reunion, but with Matt in jail now, where does this go? Charlie Cox has recently said this, but I feel like they're contractually obligated to say stuff like that if they're not in the next project being advertised. But I mean, how great would it be to see Daredevil and Spider-Man team up? It just makes the most sense. It looks like Spidey's breaking into a prison, fighting the Hand, who are Daredevil villains, and now Daredevil Matt Murdock is in jail. This just makes too much sense for it not to be there. But if it's not there and it is done well in July, I won't be mad about it. Be slightly upset that Daredevil and Spider-Man have not gotten a team up in the MCU yet, but I digress. It looks like BB is getting a better job, which good for her. I always liked her. And we end on Matt in prison. Funny enough, passing some of the AVTF task force people and Powell being in that line. And God damn, that guy was a little shithead. He is such a good actor. I hated him from the start. I hate that guy, but I love to hate him. And we end kind of like how Loki did, where sit, look in the camera, and just smile, and just wait for your next appearance. This has got to be up there with some of these Disney Plus Marvel shows as one of the best finales that they have ever made. The Loki Season 2 finale, the Loki Season 1 finale, the What If Season 1 finale, and the WandaVision finale were all just great character developments for those characters. Great episodes, great character development, and this episode right here, Daredevil Born Again Season 2's finale, was no different. Great episode, great character development, and can we just talk real quick about how Charlie Cox is Matt Murdock? That dude is Daredevil. That guy was born to play this role, and like I said in my last video, I will say it then, I will say it now, that guy is the equivalent of Daredevil to Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Born to be that role. They were born again. Daredevil Season 2 is over. It was a great season. We got the Punisher special next week, which I cannot wait for that because I also think that John Bernthal is the definition of Punisher. Got Supergirl in June, got Spider-Man in July. Like I've said, I've coined those phrases of Super June and Spider July. So if those start becoming popular, you know where it came from. If I'm grading this season, I'd probably give it a solid B+, honestly, because it was really good. Bit slow in some parts, but that's because of character building and story development. So it's understandable. You completely get why they do it, why you have those little slow moments sometimes. Not everything can be just fast-paced action, go, go, go kind of way. How boring would that be? Need a reason why things are happening. I thought Season 2 was definitely better than Season 1. Do I kind of miss Punisher? Yeah, but I felt like his role was kind of replaced by Bullseye, which Bullseye was freaking awesome in this season. I loved Bullseye's appearances. Completely forgiven for killing Foggy, and we understand the reason why, that he was hired to do it. So it's understandable why he did it, and he rightfully killed Vanessa, which thank you. I also noticed a bit of subtle advertising in there, where Matt put his book on the table in the courtroom and it was a Daredevil Born Again comic on there. That was a nice little touch. And also with the people who were doing the riots and were fighting against Kingpin in this finale, some of them had on the Marvel Legend Daredevil mask, which that was cool. I do want that. I'm excited for season 3 next year. Hope it turns out well. It looks like it's got potential to turn out well with how the story can go and only what we can predict.